Hello everyone, my name is Maz Ahmed and I'm a political affairs intern here at the Borgen Project. And I thought that I'd give an overview about my experience here as an intern because I know that a lot of people are applying for this internship and may want to know what this internship entails and what the experience working here is like. So I'm just going to give a quick overview about my experience as a political affairs intern and also talk about what this organization is about and what this organization, really promotes. So to begin, my name is Maz Ahmed, and I'm a political affairs intern here in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. And the good thing about this internship is that it is a remote internship, so I can pretty much do this internship anywhere. But currently, I'm a student at Boston University studying international relations, and so I thought this political affairs intern would be a really good opportunity for me to get, internship experience as well as experience working in the political kind of atmosphere. So, to talk a little bit about the organization, the Borgen Project is a nonprofit organization that really focuses on poverty reduction. Now, what that means is that essentially, it's a group that tries to lobby Congress to pass certain bills and to increase funding for poverty reduction legislation in various different forms. And now, the Borgen Project, in a sense, is a lobbying group, but it's not like one of those dirty, corrupt lobbying groups that everyone always hears about and talks about. In fact, I think it's really lobbying in its truest form because, in a sense, what you really have with the Borgen Project is just an organization that really prides itself and focuses on fundraising as well as having people, having constituents mobilize their community to contact representatives in favor of poverty reduction legislation and the organization itself. And so, in my opinion, this is really what lobbying in its truest form and what lobbying done right kind of looks like. And so, now to get into an overview of what my internship really entails, essentially the first week of the internship really is just about learning what lobbying is about and what the organization is about. You do a lot of your preliminary training really just focusing on different ways that you can bird dog or different ways that you could fundraise, different ways that you can learn about the organization and what it stands for, as well as really just creating a profile for your fundraiser and doing, going to different meetings where they give you fundraiser tips and bird dogging tips. And so a lot of the work that you do in the first 2 weeks is really just introductory work to get you started for the next 12 weeks or next 10 weeks of work that you do later on. And so I think I want to also preface this by saying that because of COVID-19 and this pandemic, some of the activities that I would normally do as an intern for the Borgen Project have kind of been stifled or altered, but I was still able to have a very fulfilling internship and do a lot at my time here at the Borgen Project. And so I guess, some of the main things I've done as a political affairs intern is mobilize people. One of the things that the organization really focuses on is mobilization of people by having them email Congress and call people. And, at first I was kind of daunted by this activity because, the goal is to have at least 50 people contact your representatives. But it honestly isn't all that too difficult because the Borgen Project really makes it easy because they just have on their website a form or a link that you can use to pretty much just fill in your name, your email address, and your regular address, and then from that, based on that, you can just email your actual representatives with a pre-written note. And so doing that was honestly easy, and I think it was honestly really good for me to contact 50 people because it was a really easy way to keep in touch with people and just kind of reach out to people. And so I kind of like that because it got me out of my comfort zone in that aspect. Another one of the things that I've done here as a political affairs intern is really you do a lot of letter writing as well. Every maybe 2 weeks they probably ask you to write a letter to your representatives on various issues. And so I've written a letter to Elizabeth Warren, Senator Ed Markey, and Senator or Congressman Joe Kennedy. And each 2 weeks I pretty much write a letter to them about a different issue, like the international affairs budget, Global Health Security Act, Keep Girls in School Acts, various different things. And this is gonna be a little bit of a pivot, but one thing that I really enjoyed about the internship was essentially how it really got me to learn about my representatives. Before this, as a constituent in Massachusetts, I really only knew about Elizabeth Warren because I feel like she's pretty popular, but I didn't really know who my representative was, nor did I know who the other senator was. But after doing this internship, one of the things that they really pride you and make you do is study your representatives, really learn what their interests are, learn what policies they believe in, and kind of stalk their social media. And so because of that, I was able to learn really a lot about my representatives, and I thought this was a really good opportunity to practice that skill of learning what they care about and learning what issues that they advocate for, so that I could advocate for other issues that are similar to their beliefs. And so, that was really important lesson that I learned from like writing letters, but also just the other activities in this internship. And that also kind of like what I said earlier kind of leads me into one of the other activities that I've done, which is kind of like stalking my representatives on social media. Now, before this, I didn't really have a Twitter account, but after this internship, or because of this internship, I made a Twitter account, and each week I tweet at my representatives asking them to support poverty reduction legislation, whether it be the Global Health Security Act or the International Affairs budget. I've also looked at their Facebook to see if I can bird dog any events, as well as gone through Instagram to really advocate for the Borgen Project, but also really see what my representatives have been up to. And some other things that I've done in this internship, aside from social media, writing letters, or mobilizing people, is fundraising. That's another aspect of this internship. I think that honestly the fundraising aspect is probably the most difficult part of the internship, to be honest, even though it's overall pretty easy internship. Just because they really push for you to raise $500, which during a pandemic can be kind of difficult. But I find that if you really just write letters to people and really reach out, that this goal is really possible, though this part is probably the most difficult, especially during a pandemic. But I think it's honestly a really relevant skill that you can talk to about to other employers, especially if you work or want to work at a nonprofit organization in the future. Because saying that you raised $500 during a pandemic is definitely a really good thing to say in your resume. I guess some other things I've done in this internship, and probably my favorite thing that I've done in this internship, was actually meet with my representatives or their staff themselves. So I wasn't able to meet with anyone on Elizabeth Warren's team, but the first meeting that I've had was actually with Senator Ed Markey's foreign policy legislative assistant. And so that was really cool because it was me and a couple other Borgen Project interns calling the the foreign policy assistant for Ed Markey, and really talking about important issues like the Global Health Security Act and the International Affairs budget. And, really actually talking to someone and hearing their ideas was really, I think, really cool, really interesting, and really helpful for my public speaking skills and my development as a person, because I've never really done anything like that. And to really talk to someone on staff was really cool. And also even cooler, in my opinion, was when I actually got to meet with and talk to Congressman Joe Kennedy himself. So I actually had a Zoom meeting with Congressman Joe Kennedy with a couple other political affairs interns, and that was really cool because, I've never actually met with a representative in person, and or not in person, but actually have a conversation with them. I kind of fangirled a little bit too, because at one point I remember Joe Kennedy, he said my name, was oh, Maz, that was a really good point you made about the Global Health Security Act, and he added on to it. So it really goes to show that they're listening, and that they have these meetings because they want to talk to constituents. And that's not something that I knew about ahead of time. Going into this internship, I didn't really know how much representatives care about hearing what their constituents say, and how much they care about your opinion and your voice. I didn't really think that was a thing, but honestly, meeting with them really opened my eyes to how available some of these public figures are, and how they do really want to hear your voice. So I thought that was really probably the highlight of my experience at the internship. But some other things that I've done was just do a lot of overall random assignments here and there, or maybe not as emphasized assignments, for example trying to call into a radio station, or I gave a lecture, or not lecture, but little presentation, 5 to 10 minute presentation to a class at Boston University, and to 2 classes as well, or to 2 classes overall. And in a couple weeks I'm gonna be meeting with a Rotary to talk about the organization. So that's definitely something I'm preparing for right now in the final weeks of my internship. But overall, there are definitely a lot of different assignments and a lot of different tasks, and I definitely would consider this internship if you're interested in politics or political affairs. I know going into this internship, I was really worried about the workload and how much work I'd be doing, because I wanted to have time for a lot of other things during the summer. But honestly, the workload really isn't an issue. You generally work around 12 hours per week, but honestly, I find myself finishing the assignments early and trying to look at the point chart to look at other assignments I can do. So each week the assignments are very doable, and you can honestly do a lot of other things with your life while doing this internship, because it's remote and very, very, very flexible, honestly. like you really don't have a set schedule. You really just work whenever you want to. And so like I remember during the summer, like some of the things that I'd done was that, like, I was part of this, scholarship group at my school where you had to do like some assignments there, and then I was participating in a mock mediation tournament. I was applying for study abroad, and I was also like currently practicing from my outside, and like those are all things I've been able to do for the summer, like while still doing these internships. So there's definitely like a lot of flexibility. And also my like peers here at the Borgen Project, they work like jobs while doing the Borgen Project, and they also take classes while doing the Borgen Project. So it's definitely like it's really easy to balance, honestly. And yeah, really flexible internship. I definitely would recommend it to anyone who wants this, like to get like public speaking skills or writing skills, and want to really get political like skills and experience. This was my first internship, and I think that this is honestly a really great internship and a start to internships, because I hear from some of my classmates earlier that like, oh, they've had internships where they just do like random paperwork, or they don't really do something that meaningful. But through fundraising, through contacting people, mobilizing people, through meeting my representatives, I've really felt like I've done a lot of really meaningful work. And I thought that this internship has honestly been a really great experience, and it's definitely been like not difficult, but very, very enjoyable, I'd say. So yeah, like that's my experience here at the Borgen Project. It's a 3-month internship, very flexible. Again, I probably said that like 10 times by now. But yeah, so I know that there's a lot of internships out there, but for anyone who wants to consider doing this internship, definitely check it out. I think it would be a really great opportunity. And so yeah, just if you ever want to reach out to me and talk to me more about my experience at the internship, or just like connect in general, I'm just going to leave my email in the description of this video. So for anyone who may want to apply for this internship in the future, good luck, and fight for poverty reduction, I guess.